Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel and if you enjoy this video, at the end of the video you can comment, like and subscribe so we can do more videos like this one. Today we are working on a GTX Limited. I hate working on these jet skis. I don't like it. They're a pain in the butt, and that's why I took this job, because I want to show you guys how difficult it is to work on this jet ski. And the labor for this jet ski is really expensive, because just to get to the engine, you guys are gonna see what I have to go through. So this is what it looks like. It's the GTX Limited with suspension. Now this jet ski is notorious for having electrical issues, and I'm gonna show you why. I already started taking some of the bolts out, and only these two bolts came out. All of these bolts are seized in there, and most likely they're gonna break. And then when they break, then you have a problem. Now we have more stuff to deal with. And so you have all these 8 bolts here, and if we open here, we got more bolts here. This is where the shock is. We gotta take all these bolts, and most of these bolts again break, and there's a few more bolts here and in the other side. So the problem with this jet ski is so airtight. It's so tight in there that it doesn't breathe. The motor doesn't breathe. Now this jet ski is side aside like most people have their jet skis. Not a lot of people have a garage like me and have their jet ski in there and with the seat off, so everything can breathe and air can get inside the hull, and then you don't have no electrical issues. Now look at this. If we take this out, look at that water. So all the water, it gets in. Water always gets in. It doesn't matter if you have a boat or a jet ski, water finds its way inside. And that little bit of water on the bottom of the hull comes up at night because of the temperature change. At day is hot, at night is cold. So look at all this. You see all this water? That is what ruins most jet skis, all the electrical stuff on the jet skis that you have to replace. So, and if we look at the wire harness, look at that. That is crazy. Look at this. It doesn't even come out. Look at that. So this is what I find a lot on the jet skis. The main harness bad. Most of the time it's just the main harness. But this jet ski, woohoo! So I'm gonna show you guys what it takes just to get to the wire harness. If it's a regular jet ski, all you have to do is just take the seat off. You take the seat off and everything is here. So well, so far so good. We haven't broken any bolt, so we'll see when we get to the other side, right? All right, so I got my other half working on the other side. I'm gonna start on this side. See, he doesn't have this on the other side, so I got an advantage. I always forget that. The little 10 millimeters, it looks like you don't take them out. It's just for this plate. So it's basically just the 6 that I took out. So we're lucky. I've never been that lucky. There's always 1 or 2 that breaks in there. Now the back, I cannot say the same thing. These are hard. So we're gonna try to work them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. until we get them out. So hopefully we won't break one. It's a lot of patience. You have to have a lot of patience. Just don't try to take them out at once because you will break them.
Many minutes later.
All right, guys, good news. It paid off. The last time I worked in one of these, I broke a few bolts, and every shop that I talk to, they say you can't avoid it. You're always gonna break bolts. So this time I did something different. I took my time. It's actually right now into the last time you guys saw me, it was 37 minutes. It took me 37 minutes to take all these bolts out, and I did not break not even one. So basically, if you put a little bit of heat without melting any plastics, it helps tremendously. And you know, of course, you know, your penetration stuff, so you can loosen the bolts. So a little bit of WD-40 helps a lot, and a little bit of heat, so that helps. So here we go. Got both of this on both sides off, and I got all of these guys. This one was the one that gave me the most trouble, but finally I got it loose, and I got everything loose. So now we're gonna take the top off. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So next, after you take all the bolts out, you're gonna have to take the steering cable off. So we pull this off. We have to take this piece off. It has a little clips here, which you push those in, and this pops off. And then I believe this one pops off too. Let's see, pop it off, and then there's two little clips here. You open them up like that, and this whole thing should come out without damaging the plastic too much. Oh, almost have it. There we go. See how that comes off? It got little clips right there. So put this on the side, and now you basically just push this out like that, and then push this one in right there, both of them, and it just pops off. All right, so we got it off. Take the cable off. The cable is for some people it's kind of tricky, so it's like this. It usually you just take it from here. This part is flush with this, and you just take it out, and that's what unlocks it. And now we can see the steering cable right here. We'll take this bolt off, and the steering, you know, you can just leave it there, and once you take this whole thing out, it just falls down. And then there's some wire harness there. Once we lift this up, then we can unplug that, and the whole thing comes off. If there's one good tip that I can give you about this project, is take your time with the bolts. When you're taking the top off, take your time, because if you break them, they're stainless steel, and you're gonna complicate things. You need a special bit to take the bolt out, and it just complicates things. I mean, if you look at these bolts, I mean, this is crazy. Look at that. I mean, this thing, if I did not take my time, that bolt would have definitely have broken. And you see all of them are the same way. Even the little ones break too. And you can see why, and especially here in South Florida. So take your time. If it takes you an hour to take them, just back and forth, just work them, and that will pay off in the end. And just to show you that you think I know everything, I don't know everything, and I forget stuff. So I forgot something. I put my engine hoist to take the top off, and I say, man, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and it was a little tight. I forgot more bolts, and they're under this mat right here, so you have to peel off the mat, and surprise, four more bolts. When you think you know everything, you don't know nothing. That is funny to me. I think the Jetski had the last laugh. So when you take the bolt from the top off, you got to come over here and take these two zip ties off. That's part of the main harness, and there's a 10mm bolt here and one here. And you take this piece off, and the steering cable will slide down. And then unplug this, take this off. I can't do it with one hand. This is the lock. Take the lock off, and then this comes out, and that's it. Then these two things are off, and now you can take the body off. And just like that, the top is off, and this is what we got. And it's still difficult to work on this jet ski, and you guys don't know, you're gonna see why. I mean, the wire harness come out through here, and we gotta take this off, and then this is the tricky part. The wire harness, this part here, this big old plug needs to go under this suspension, and sometimes it's really hard. So you just gotta take your time. Okay, now next we took this cover off. We gotta take this off, and we gotta take this cover off so we can get to the IBR and unplug the IBR, because that's part of the main harness. So here we go. Fun. All right, so got the plug off the IBR off. Got it right here. This plug is a pain in the butt. You have to press this one and this one at the same time and pull out, which is really difficult. And then we come over here, and you have to kind of, it's easier if you take this piece off of the battery rack. You don't have to take the battery rack off. I can just do it here, and it all comes loose. You can take pictures if you want, so you know how everything goes back together. And most of it is just common sense, you know. Some certain things go a certain way, and that's the way it is, you know. The cable, the way the cable is and everything. So we're taking that out, and then we follow the cable all the way through, and it goes in here and it goes to the front. So okay, got the wire harness out. For all means, this is one of those jobs that you have to be really handy, almost a mechanic to do this job. I don't want to scare anybody away from doing it, but it's very difficult. This jet ski, any other jet ski, is a piece of cake. I actually tell people to do it, and if they get stuck, they can always bring it to me. But another thing that I tell people all the time is, when you buy any part, before you install it, you need to put it side by side with the old one and make sure it's the right part, especially with wire harness, because there's so many. So that's exactly what I did here. I got them both next to each other, and I make sure that I have all the plugs and everything where it should be. And then we are going back in here and putting it back on. So now is the reverse. Now we have to put everything back. So that should be interesting. All right, guys, so putting the wire harness back is a tax. This thing is hard. So I gotta put this piece, which is the biggest piece of the wire harness. I took it apart because it's easier. It's very tricky to take this apart. You have to take your time if you're going to take it apart. Don't mess it up. Don't break any of the little clips or any of that, because then you'll be in trouble. But I have to do that because in order to put it through here, this is the hole where I got to put it through. It barely fits that. And a little tip that I learned years ago is to use a wire. So when I took the old harness out from all the way over here, I put this wire, and as you take it out, the wire stays there. So Now I attach the I should say the rope, not the wire, to the new harness, and I just pull it right through, and it will come out right under the suspension piece. So that's a little trick that my dad showed me years ago. So that works for me. Hopefully it will work for you. All right guys, so got the wire harness in, everything was supposed to go, and of course the million zip ties back where they go, to keep the wire harness nice and tight so it doesn't move, so it doesn't rub. A lot of times if you don't put the zip ties while you're riding, it rubs and then it gets ruined, and now you have a problem. So everything is in. What I'm gonna do next is I'm going to connect that part right here and try to start it and see if it starts, and see if there's any more surprises with this Jetski, because this thing came in really bad shape. So let's see what other surprises we got. All right, so got everything in place, got the top on, connect the wire for the gauges and the steering, and I already turned the motor and it turns, so that's a good thing. I connected all the injectors and everything. Let's see if it starts. All right, it looks like the intercooler is probably bad. Maybe. All right, so we connected the hose back on. I blew all the water out of the intercooler. Of course, I'm not putting any water to it because I know the intercooler is bad. So what I want to know is if there's any, if it runs good. So let's see if it's running good. And if the check engine light is on, if I forgot something, you know, plug, there's a million plugs. Oh man, it runs perfect. No check engine light. Perfect. So that's about how long I ran him without the water. So now we'll check and see if there's any water, which, oh, there it is. There's water in the oil, so we have to do, I'm gonna try doing 2 oil changes and see if it clears up. Depends how much water it has. Most of the time it's about 6 oil changes, so we'll see. Maybe this guy's lucky and with 2 oil changes it will clear up. See what happens. Fearless.